Okay, I've got the pistons and cylinders on the other side. This is the number 3 cylinder piston assemblies in. Figured we've seen this before, but I'll give you a little different angle and just do this last one. The base gasket, I'm going to put it on first because it kept wanting to slide down the cylinder and be a pain in the butt getting it on. So we'll stick that on. I took the pistons and cylinders, and since they've been sitting around, put them in the parts washer and cleaned them and blew them off real well. The arrow goes towards the flywheel end, and I've got the clip already in that groove in that side. And for whatever reason, this wrist pin and this piston is really tight. So it required a little bit of assistance. I'm not pounding super hard. I did squirt some oil in there. I found my special tool I made for another project. It fit about perfect. All right, that's in there. Now get the clip. Grab a hold of it. Hope we don't shoot it across the room. Pops that in the groove. All right. So we want, since we're upside down, I'm going to put the top piston ring, put the gap up here. And I'll stagger the bottom ones 180. No real easy way to do this with so many rings. Okay, there's that one. That one. Okay, and then the oil groove, the oil ring will go up. Now, you want the piston ring staggered so you don't get like straight blow through your compression. You want the gas to kind of be trapped and not have an easy path to blow by your piston. And I'm going to offset this top one a little bit to try to make sure both ends are under the compressor where the gap is. I don't want it to get caught. Alright, that should work. The cylinder all cleaned up. A little oil. I'm doing a little cocktail of some WD-40 in there too. Alright. Okay. Now all of the compression rings are in there. Open up here and slide down. Come on. Slide this down and capture the oil ring. And it's kind of the same deal. Alright, its gap's behaving, so I'm going to try that right there. Make sure we're caught all the way. Yep. That slipped off. That oil control ring was kind of a pain on the other one too. Other ones. I do not want to break that thing. So let me get another bite here. Figures I practice on all the other ones, and the ones I want to show you guys, the one I want to show you guys proves to be a pain. All right, take two. There we go. Now that thing can get put away for the final time. Make sure my base gasket's where it needs to be. All right. I have my wrench hanging here. Let's get that out of the way. I have vice grips on the other cylinders. So let's rotate this a little bit. Okay, everything seems happy. So, trying to get this thing buttoned up and keep it clean. So I figured next we will go ahead, now with keeping the sump open in case something fell down in there and I need to fish it out. But I might as well go ahead and get that on there and get that buttoned up. So let me grab everything and we'll be right back. All right. Since hopefully this will be the last time we'll see any of this, make sure all this is good and lubed one last time. So I got in the kit, found there were 3 gaskets for some strange reason, but I only need 2. I cleaned off the strainer and the sump plate, which has seen better days, but be all right. It also has a magnet in it. And in addition to that, I spend the last couple minutes digging all the hard gasket silicone out of the tube. So, without further ado, let's just put a little bead around here. Right there. So I'll have a gasket, the strainer, which is kind of hammered too. Let's make sure that's going to fit properly. I'll go ahead and put it on here. Another small layer around this part. Another gasket. drop that on. I was going to put some sealer on the bolts, but I think enough oozed down through the holes it'll get its own. And I did rummage through my junk drawer and to the archives and found enough washers, because I don't really know what happened to the ones that were on there. I think this looks like a pain in the butt. Here, you should try to do it on your back under the car. Alright, you get the idea. We'll get all these started and tighten it down. Okay, while we're here, let's start put some pieces on. So next the generator stand goes on, fresh out of the parts washing machine. There's a bunch of gaskets in the kit. This appears to be the correct one. So I think what we'll do is we will use a little bit of this gray Permatex stuff. I believe it's Permatex, yes, ultra gray.
Brian, you gotta see this. Oh, is it videoing?
Yes. Alright, so we'll put a little silicone around there. I don't want to put too much where it oozes out. And I said that was the right gasket. You know what? This thing has offset holes, so it only goes one way. Well, so I guess we're going to try all of them. There we go. Alright, try that. We'll add a little bit more. Just on general principle. There really shouldn't be any oil here anyway, but so. And I had all the bolts, which are right here. The back of this thing's slotted, I guess, so you can take it off in the car. Now, I remember why now. It's because this back one is, you got to tighten it with a wrench. It's a pain. So there we go. I say that. Try the easy ones first. All right, we'll get a wrench and we will tighten those. All right, then this gasket goes up here. So I think next we'll see if I can remember how all this goes together. So I've got a bag here with the distributor, oil lines, etc. This whole temperature sending apparatus, I believe, went on there, something like that. I think that went on top. All right, we'll get that cleaned up and get that on. Okay, so I figured we'd at least show you putting on one head. So the push rod tubes, that one's got the clip on it. Need to stick them in. These are still pretty oily from when I did this the first time. Actually, they go in like so. And then got the one with the deflector, and I need to grab out of the parts washer. Yeah. Hang on, let me wash that. So this goes under the cylinder, and this side has the square headed bolt that goes all the way through the case. That's why it has the square cutout in it. The other side's round for like an acorn nut. So that goes up in there, and then this little apparatus here on the push rod tube goes down in and sits, and then I'll show you. That's what it looks like. This wire end kind of sits up on this boss on the block, and that holds that deflector in. So the air circulates around the cylinders and doesn't just go straight through. It helps cool the bottom of the cylinders. Apparently people have been known to leave those out, and it's a quick way to melt your engine. So that's 3 and 4 cylinders. So let me get the right push rod tubes, or push rods. So 4 intake. This one is 4 intake. 4 exhaust. 3 intake. 3 exhaust. Alright, so I'm going to go grab the head and we will come back and drop that on there. Alright, am I forgetting anything? Now's your time to tell me. Let me make sure we've got a decent angle there. Let's turn it the right direction. Okay, think about this. Got our push rods in, push rod tubes, and actually I could have waited on them. Anyway, they're in there. Cylinders are down. And I did stretch these over there when I cleaned them up before I brought them over to the engine. Okay. We get the washers and the ultra torque, and we'll come back and start tightening those down. Alright, we'll see how this angle works. I have some of this stuff. The book says graphite paste, so it looks like it to me. So what we're going to do, as I did this the first time around, it seemed pretty successful. We'll take this washer, a hardened washer, which was the whole reason we started this process, that was missing for years. We will take that. These aren't actually too bad. So they're offset, so by looking at the rocker stand down here on my makeshift work table, my bucket table, this one should go right there. And those O-rings are still plenty oily from the first time. So we will kind of stick the washer to it, put some on the other side, and go ahead and do this one. Down it goes. That is the best way I've found to line these up. Trying to drop them is freaking hopeless. Okay, so we'll get all these bolts in and we'll bring you back in just a minute. All right, we'll see how this works out. They're all in there. We are going to start by torquing to 7 foot-pounds. Not very much. This is the sequence. I've got the book up here on the back of the car. Of course, it's pretty straightforward. It's just kind of work your way out in a circle. I want this one to be 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the next is 22 foot-pounds. 20, we'll go 22 and a half just to make it better. Okay, so I got one side buttoned up, put together. I wasn't going to bore you with the other side, but I thought I'd share this. You might be asking, why am I taking this head apart, which I've previously rebuilt, shimmed, set the height, all that mess in the video a while back. Well, this valve retainer was, of course now I'm not going to be able to get to the other one. Come on. One of these was kind of hogged up, but I deemed it acceptable at the time. And of course now this other keeper won't come out of there. There it is. For the scope of the project at the time, I decided to roll with it. But things have obviously changed, so stay. So I don't know, let me make sure you can see this. Part of its violent past. Not sure what happened there, but a portion of that was gone. And a new one was like, at the time, was like 50 or 60 bucks, and I was going to risk it. But there's I found a used one on eBay for like 7 bucks. No, maybe even 15. I think it might have been 15. But I figured it was worthwhile investment. So we'll get that on there, we'll get this head washed, and then we'll get this one on. Okay, we got the other side buttoned up. Got this side on. Figured I'd show you assembling the rocker stuff. Got some assembly lube on everything. The whole stand just drops down on. You're able to actually do some of these with the rock arm still on it. So go ahead and run these down. These are 36. And these round rockers have this bevel deal. And one of the German lock washers. Wavy lock washer, whatever you want to call it. Little thin ones. And the middle rocker stand. There's flat in the middle, and then the outside edges have a little half round deal. Actually, you know what? That goes there. That goes there. And same thing on the outside. Of course, I planned this all out and did not bring the proper socket for that. So let me go find a 13mm socket, and we will torque them to 18 foot-pounds. The other ones are 15s. Bet you can't see that, and neither can I, is the problem. I did squirt some oil down the push rods on both sides to kind of pre-lube them. I'd say we're compressing the valve here a little bit. Alright, there we are. Now, I did not glue the gasket to that valve cover yet. I did the other side. I'll roll it around so you can see it. I did take the time and paint them. Of course, the gasket doesn't want to fit very well, so I almost need to tape it in there while the sealant dries to hold it to the right shape. So I'm going to go ahead and get the other side buttoned up, and then we'll cover up this stuff so we don't get any debris down there.